Hey guys, how you doing? Ron here with Tech Tips to Go. And today's video is going to be a controversial one. I'm going to be playing devil's advocate, and I know for all you XRP enthusiasts, you know what? Comment below, convince me, guys. This isn't. I'm not criticizing XRP big time. I still hold XRP, but as you guys saw with my other videos, I did sell a large chunk of my XRP just to get into other altcoins that I believe stronger in. So, anyways, let's get into the video. There was probably like 3 to 4 main factors why I decided to kind of exit mostly out of XRP and get put more of my bags into the coins that I believe stronger in. So, and it's not that this article sums it up, but there were some other things that I'll get into. So one of the things is them being sued, litigation, and a steady price and a decline, right? Well, we can argue that because like with this whole world pandemic and everything is pretty much like in the hole. Everything's pretty much down. And I mentioned this before too as well. So with strong communities and believers, typically that would either grow as more people enter like the cryptocurrency market. But when you read this article, it kind of shows you, and there was like 2 or 3 other articles on this, but it shows like since January of 2018, there's been like an 82% decline since January 2018. And then also in Telegram, it says here, Telegram groups compiled by a Twitter user on April 15th showed that over 63% at Ripple members had left since June of 2018. So, and then you have this one. This one kind of, like I always knew about it, and that kind of worried me like from the start is in this, right? So when you go through this article, and I'm going to leave the article, and if you just Google some of these keyword terms like sales or decline or numbers for XRP. One of the things that I was looking at is, over the quarters and over the years, you kind of listen to see and hear what companies are doing, whether they're raising funds, venture capitalists, funding, etc. So let me put something into perspective for you guys. So I'm going to put you in my situation where in my early 20s, what happened. So I worked for a pre-IPO company, getting IPO initial public offering on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and it was a fiber optic company. It was great. We had a lot of customers, but we kept seeking funding from private sources and lenders, right? And we had a hard time with cash flow, right? And we could all see that, but we had a great product. But if we're not managing our expenses and the cash flow and the employees and just cash flow in general, right? Earnings, EBITDA. So anyways, the CEO grabs all of us. There was probably about 75 to 100 of us in a boardroom. And we knew that the company wasn't doing as well as we should because we'd have great months and then a couple of months would be low, a couple of quarters would be low. So anyways, to make a long story short, what he mentioned, he got in front of all of us, and what he said is, as you know, the company isn't doing too well, and as of next week, we're not too sure if we can pay everyone's paycheck. So, and the meeting prior to that was, we've seeked out funding from other venture capitalists, and we're waiting to hear word from that. And I guess that didn't pan through. So, you ask yourself that question, and it was like, what would you do in that situation? Would you keep investing into that company, or would you run? And what did I do? I took off, obviously, and probably like everyone else in the company. And it just kind of went, they kind of liquidated everything and just sold off whatever customer list, and that was pretty much it. So the question is like, you look at XRP as a company and you see if they're profitable quarter over quarter. And one of the things that kind of reminded me of like XRP and that company that I worked for was this. So this article came out roughly around March 20th, and it was going all around Twitter and etc. But basically, so what ended up happening is they sold a large chunk of XRP, and what Brad Garlinghouse mentioned is like, quote unquote, he says we would not be profitable or cash flow positive without selling XRP, right? And that's where I started to make my decisions. And you think of that, it's like, well, and then they're seeking more venture capitalists, more funding, more investors, etc. So, all of that was kind of in the back of my mind before making my decision last week. And then you also look, and then this came up, when I was looking for more news on XRP. So this article is from decrypt.co, and it says 98% of XRP transactions are empty, says report. So to summarize this, basically all of the transactions on that blockchain are pretty much nil. And over here, what it says is a research paper has found that the majority of transactions on 3 major blockchain platforms are valueless. In many cases, they are largely used for spam or for airdropping worthless tokens. Now, it gets deeper into here, and what it says about XRP, it says, with EOS and XRP, the majority of transactions exhibit characteristics resembling DOS attacks. So read the paper. DOS is like a denial of service attack, and cyber attacks, where a large number of computers are used to put strain on a website or other services to take it offline. So in Ripple's defense, in this article here from like the Daily Huddle, Ripple responds to research showing vast majority of XRP transactions are empty. And what's interesting about this, it says, Ripple is responding to a research paper published on Cornell University's website in March that claims that only 2% of all transactions actually led to value transfer. But here's what's interesting. It says, instead, according to the paper, the vast majority of transactions on the XRP ledger had zero value, a crypto version of spam. Now, Ripple is reacting to the claim, but not denying it. Rather, the CTO, David Schwartz, says that the report rings true, and such activity is merely evidence of the ledger's speed, affordability, and capacity. And also, it just doesn't talk about XRP on this, and I'm not criticizing XRP, but those were like some of the decisions that kind of made me a little more bearish on it. But this article also talked about EOS with the same thing. They mentioned that like 95% of those transactions are useless as well as Tezos, which is about 82%. And then, so the next article is kind of like Jed McCaleb, so like the one of the co-founders of Ripple XRP. So, he co-founded OpenCoin, which eventually became Ripple. So when you believe in a stock or a company, typically if you're thinking about like anywhere from like 5 to 10% gains, maybe 20% gains, but you could also argue with me about this. Like, if you believe strongly in this company and was a former partner of Ripple, obviously you'd have insider information, you'd be speaking with a lot of people, and if you believed in that coin or that cryptocurrency or that stock or the company or the share, you'd probably hodl onto it, maybe hold on to it for longer. But as you see in this article, the former founder has sold over 175 million. So year over year, he just keeps selling and selling. I think they made an agreement where they couldn't sell all of his shares. He had to sell it in chunks, but maybe he needed cash flow. But anyways, that's kind of like my argument is, if you believe strongly in it, would you keep dumping all of your shares in that coin? But maybe he's just got so many coins that he can't cash everything out in one specific time frame or period, so he needs to do that. So anyways, guys, comment below, let me know. Like I said, like, I'm playing kind of devil's advocate. I still do believe in Ripple, but the way I'm thinking is, this is like, with Ripple, great, it has a great use case for cross-border payments, but the token is not really like, that's ODL, but within the XRP token, is it actually being used? Will it be used with the IMF and everything? Like, will that kind of convert and help with the banks? Like, will the banks allow that in the future? I'm not sure. And that's what kind of made me more on the bearish side. But to make me bullish on XRP is the fact that they have relationships with all these banks. And as cryptocurrencies kind of gets more widely adopted, hopefully XRP kind of, with those relationships and partners with those banks, that they'll start using it, for mobile payments, etc. Right? So anyways, wanted to leave it there, and I want to know your comments, guys. Let me know, if you're pro XRP or you're not, or if you're more bearish on XRP, if you exited at XRP, and some of your reasons. And then comment below for you XRP hodlers and fans. Let me know arguments and everything else. So anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe, comment, and see you tomorrow.